Every year, the average American produces 287 pounds of plastic waste. 9 million tons of plastic enters the ocean every year. Humans are ingesting nearly 5 grams of plastic a week, with microplastics entering the lungs, liver, spleen, and kidneys. To put a stop to plastic pollution, buy a reusable water bottle and recycle single-use plastics. We only have one planet, let's use it wisely. This PSA brought to you by 88.7 KWDM The Point.
It's time to turn that dial up now because this next modern rock hit rocks even harder than the last one. So stay tuned to 88.7 KWDM. You're tuned into the Point Center. 88.7 KWDM, the Point, West Des Moines.
Welcome to a very special Monday afternoon edition of the Tiger's Eye here on 88.7 KWDM The Point, the show where we bring on the coolest guests and make them the point. My name is Bryan Williams, and if there's two things in this world that I don't fear, it's your disapproval and this microphone. Today I'm accompanied by my co-host, and we are thrilled to be welcoming Bryan Greenfield, drummer of Traffic Death, to the show. Bryan, how's it going over there?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty great ourselves. Would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself to the listeners out there?
Yep, Bryan Greenfield here. Play drums for Des Moines band Traffic Death.
That's pretty great. That's pretty great, man. Would you like to tell us first question here? How did you guys first meet?
Well, I've known Nate and Andrew since I was probably about 11 or 12 when I first started going to underground punk shows here in Des Moines. They used to be in this band called Black Market Fetus.
Yes.
And then Garen, I met him when he joined the band Dark Mirror in the mid-2000s.
All right. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties. So what kinds of music scenes have you found yourself being a part of and being around?
Mostly just like the punk and like more extreme punk-oriented metal scenes, thrash metal, grind, stuff like that.
Nice. How is that like shaped your band? What kind of different experiences have the other members of the band had, and like how does that merge into just the culture of Traffic Death?
Well, I think me, Nate, and Andrew all come from a pretty similar background when it comes to like our music stylings that we like. Where Garen was more of a traditional like thrash metal dude before he started hanging out and joined Dark Mirror and started meeting a bunch of punk rockers and people like that, and then he finally started getting into more punk style of music.
All right. What does the average songwriting process look like for you guys, and what inspires the themes within your lyrics?
Well, with the lyrics, that'd be a question that Nate would be able to answer. I don't do any of the lyric writing for anything. Musically, songwriting generally will consist of either Garen will come to a practice with pretty much a completed song that he had been working on, and then we'll fool around with it and stuff like that. Or me and Andrew will get together and just bounce some ideas off each other until we have something pretty much completed. And then from there, Nate comes in with the lyrics after we've got pretty much the song music-wise nailed down.
Right on. What inspired the name Traffic Death?
It started out as us having a big list of names that we decided, everybody gets a few votes off this sheet of like 30 different names. And then any overlapping ones would go into a new list. And Traffic Death just seemed like a really fun have for the band. It was because of the signs on the interstates that tell you how many traffic deaths there have been this year. I just thought it'd be a really good gimmick and really fun to be able to always come back to that kind of well whenever we need a fun theme for a song or album cover or anything.
Yeah, I know that when I see those signs as I'm going on the interstate, it does remind me of your guys' music.
Yeah.
Hey, Bryan, thanks for giving us some of your time today. I just want to ask who your current, like, biggest musical inspiration or inspirations and why?
Oh, I mean, for my drumming in particular, it was always Felix Griffin, the drummer for DRI. That was all. That was the drummer that made me want to play drums and play fast punk metal drumming. Same with bands like Dayglow Abortions.
Right on. You know, DRI coming to Des Moines here in the next few weeks should be a great time. Hope to see you there. Should be great. Speaking of live shows, why don't you tell us about your live shows? What can fans expect when they see Traffic Death on stage?
Just an all-out attack. No breaks, no time to breathe. The gas pedal is jammed to the floor as far as it can go.
Right on. Moving on here, is there a particular moment live or in the studio where you guys are currently recording some new material right now? Has there been anything that has felt like a turning point for the band?
Yeah, I don't know. Turning point? I mean, every album I feel like we get re-inspired and find our love for doing this all over again, I think.
And that's what we love to see.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Who are some kind of acts in Des Moines, in the Des Moines music scene right now, worth checking out? Or do you have any like standouts and favorites that you enjoy playing with or you'd like to play with?
Here in Des Moines, Druids, probably one of my favorite
Love Druids.
other local bands here. Every time we get to play a show with those guys, it's always a really fun, good time. Greg Wheeler and the Poly Mall Cops, really good, fun pop punk style, aggressive band.
Greg Wheeler, gotta love him.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here. If you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Anyone living or dead.
Yes.
Oh man. Lemmy from Motorhead would always be
That's the best answer.
the
That's the right answer.
I was lucky enough that I was able to get to see Motorhead once before Lemmy died.
That's the dream. Unfortunately, I was not able to live out that dream. I was,
Yeah.
I believe, 8 or 9 years old. Moving on here, you guys recently shared a snippet on social media of some new music you guys have been recording. Is there anything you guys can tell us as of now regarding that?
Well, we are all finished with that recording now. Everything's mixed and going to be getting mastered. It's going to be a 4-way split LP that we're doing. I don't think I'm able to announce who the other 3 bands that are going to be on it, but they're all 3 big heavy hitters in the metal and death metal scene.
Right on.
Should be a great announcement. Make sure to stay tuned for that, guys. For someone unfamiliar with your kind of genre of music, when did you guys kind of get into grindcore, and then how did you kind of form a band from it?
Well, we were. I don't know about Garen because Garen didn't really come from that kind of background. But me, Nate, and Andrew, for me at least, for sure, it was growing up being a skateboarder that got me into punk rock and metal and grindcore and stuff like that. It's the perfect kind of soundtrack for skateboarding, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure, of course. You know, for me, growing up, the skate games, those are what got me into punk. Moving on to our final question here. Again, just want to thank you, Bryan, for joining us here on the show today. It's been a great time. Our final question, we ask everybody this. For any up-and-coming artists out there that are listening, what's one piece of advice that you wish someone had given you when you first started out here in the punk scene?
One, you're never going to make money. Just have fun. The hardest part is finding people that share your same sensibilities and want to put in the work and put in the effort to make something.
Right on, traveling around, making friends, making some good music. That's what we love to hear. Again, huge thank you, Bryan Greenfield, for coming on the show today. It's been a great time. To everybody out there listening, be sure to catch Traffic Death at Lefty's Live Music on May 14th. Not this Wednesday. I believe next Wednesday, May 14th, should be a great time. Again, huge thank you to Bryan Greenfield for taking the time out of his day to come on to the show. It's been a great time, Bryan.
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you, Bryan.
Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it, too. Keep killing it.
We'll be
Thank
coming
you.
back at you with some more Traffic Death and the best local music here in Des Moines that you're not hearing anywhere else but 88.7 KWDM, The Point.
Kate, Dr. Hallen, I'm still at the office. Something's come up. I'll need your help right away. No, you've got to come back, Kate. There's a man here with some sort of a parasite on his arm. It's assimilating his flesh at a frightening speed. I may have to get ahead of it and amputate.
That was Traffic Death with Night Beast. Again, huge thank you to Bryan Greenfield, the drummer of Traffic Death, for joining us here on a special Monday afternoon edition of The Tiger's Eye. If you're just now tuning in and missed that, you can be sure to catch it on our YouTube channel at tigercage.88.7. Again, big thanks to Bryan Greenfield. Big thank you to the Traffic Death guys for all the support these past few weeks and letting us play their music on Des Moines' #1 modern rock and alternative station. It's been a great time, Noah.
Yes, it has, and solid interview, so make sure you guys go and check that out. Here's Group Love with Hello.